Falcon Spotlight, named Best Student Public Affairs Program in America by the Intercollegiate Broadcasting System. This is the home of Rob Flores and Falcon Spotlight, named Best Student Public Affairs Program in America by the Intercollegiate Broadcasting System.
And welcome to the Falcon Spotlight. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and this is Falcon Spotlight here at Cerritos College, Norwalk, California. At this time, I'd like my guest to please introduce himself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Julian Fernandez.
Cool.
All right, good night.
So, tell me, usually what I do is when I have my guests over, I like to start off with, tell me your story, what was school like, K through 12 and stuff. Did you...
Should I mention that I'm a comedian?
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like maybe I missed that part. Yeah, I'm a comic. So you just want to know my story?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, not an epic tale or anything, but I grew up in Walnut, California, pretty much my entire life. So I'm from Southern California. Going through high school and everything, I always felt I was always a shy kid. I just wanted to find a way to get out there and everything. I started going into theater and all that, and I felt very comfortable doing it. And then eventually I got into stand-up along the way, right after high school, and just been doing that ever since. So about 6 years going on now. Yeah.
And did someone talk you into it?
Or? Nobody ever really talked me into it. I got into it just because one of my favorite comics is Gabriel Iglesias, Fluffy, and watching him, I was like, dude, I want to do that. He seems like such a real person, on stage and off stage. I want to be able to do stuff like that. It seems like amazing. And a buddy of mine who has worked with him and does stand up as well, he got me into it, just kind of convincing wise, just kind of talked me into just being like, hey, just go for it. And then after that, I was like, all right, I'll try it out. And
describe what was your first performance like?
Oh, my first performance. First time I went to the Laugh Factory in Hollywood, which is really going for the belly of the beast right there, because it's such a big named club and everything, and everybody wants to get in, but it's a tough process to get in there. But I go up my first time. I had to do 3 minutes clean material. Never really even done a stand-up open mic before. But I go in. I come up with 3 minutes before. I go in. I do my 3 minutes, and it goes really well. Afterwards, James Masada, the owner and founder of the Laugh Factory, wanted to meet with everybody individually. He met with me, which is weird because we go upstairs. If you've never been upstairs at the Laugh Factory, it's kind of like this nice little restaurant area, and then they have seats so you can look down, kind of balcony seats going on. And they have this little bar area, and at the end, it's kind of like The Godfather. He's sitting all the way at one end. I'm walking down thinking, I'm gonna get plugged right now. This is be sad. I go down, and he's sitting there. I sit down. I'm like, hi, hello, hi, how you doing? Hi. He's like, Julian, yes. I like what you're doing. I think you know what you're doing. I want to see more. Come back in 4 weeks, and then we'll talk about Showcase. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. This guy just told me that I'm doing a good job, and that he likes what I'm doing. So obviously, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life now. And from then on, I just kept on working at it, kept on writing, kept on trying to get as much stage time as I can, and yeah.
What's the typical pay when you first start?
Nothing. No, absolutely nothing. That's if you're looking to get into stand-up, don't try to get into it for the money, because I'm gonna tell you right now, you're not gonna see it for a very long time. It's definitely a struggle to try to get to a level where you're gonna get paid work. But once you start getting, if you're really dedicated to it, if you really put the work in, you're gonna see paid work come eventually, and when it happens, it'll be really good.
Cool.
Yeah.
And So the typical timing for a performance?
Typically, I mean, you're going to get on a show and it's going to be at least like hour and a half long show. Sometimes 2 hours. It's kind of stretching it, but you do about, when you start out, you're probably going to do many guest spots, do like 3 5-minute sets, maybe 7. If you're hosting, you'd probably do 10 to 15. If you're featuring, you do 15 to 20, maybe a bit more. When you're headlining, you do about 30, 45 to an hour. It all just varies on what position, in terms of the show, what position you're at.
Do you keep track of like your performances, like add them on YouTube? And
I definitely I try to record every performance I do every time I go on stage, or it's open mic, or I do a show. There are some times where it'll be a certain type of show and it's a big audience, so I want to film it, get the tape. If it's a really good tape, it's a really good show, performance and everything, I want to use that to submit to festivals, submit to other clubs, submit to bookers, producers and stuff, and try to get on shows. Because that's really if you want to get on shows, that's the only way you're going to do it, is if you get tape, and you need tape. Recommended is like 5 minutes. You want a good 5 minutes. That's the best amount of time to showcase whatever you can and show how good you are. And you know what, your first tape isn't always going to be your good tape, but that's why you got to keep on working at it.
And tell me about meeting Fluffy.
Oh yeah, great guy. He's amazing. I met him on several occasions. He's the first comic I ever saw live. When I turned 18, parents got me tickets for me and my friends to go to the Ontario Improv, and he was performing. This was like I want to say 6 years back. Yeah, about 5 years back when I turned 18, and got me tickets for the Ontario Improv. Fluffy was performing. I went there. It's the first time I ever been to a comedy show, and I remember it was Gabriel, Martin was hosting, Alfred Robles, Noah Gonzalez, and I believe, if my memory serves me right, Sean Latham. All four of those guys, other than Fluffy, all 4 of them I've performed with, or have interacted with, or kind of know on a personal level now at this point. And Gabe, afterwards, he always just likes to meet his fans and everything. So we met. Immediately was just like, I'm a big fan, blah blah blah. He's really appreciative of that. Super nice guy. I met on several other occasions. Most recently, I went to a show. I went to see him at the Staples Center in Anaheim. Is it the Staples Center? Is it the Honda Center? That's Honda Center. Honda Center in Anaheim, and we were able to get backstage and everything. Nicest guy ever. Just the coolest dude. He's just a real guy, you know. He doesn't have that idea of like, oh no, I'm at this certain level above everybody. He doesn't have that going on for him. He's definitely just a down to earth person.
Now, when we think of Fluffy, sometimes I noticed it with his acts, you know, like the acts that he does, he's known for like cake, you know, chocolate cake and stuff like that. Do you have like a theme that you stick with? Or?
I do a lot of impressions in my set. I do a lot of impressions. I talk a lot about my family, myself. I talk a lot about entertainment stuff, just because that is stuff that I'm interested in. It's stuff that I love. That I love with a passion. That's definitely talk about something that you know about. You know, you don't want, if you're, you know, there's certain comics that like to go up and talk about politics because they know politics. There's comics that can go up and talk about being homosexual because they're homosexual. There's comics that can go up and talk about this and that because they're this and that. But it's weird for a comic to go up and clearly not really have too much of an idea of the subject, but they choose to talk about it. We see a number of comics go up and talk about like the presidential race right now, and they're not so much informed so much as they just have a side that they know, and they just know, oh, we'll make fun of Trump. That's about it. So,
what are some impressions?
I do a lot. Do a lot of presidents. So I do like Barack Obama. I do George W. Bush, Bill Clinton. Let me think. I do JFK, Ronald Reagan, Let me think. I also do Morgan Freeman, of course. That's the go-to one. And then you have Christopher Walken. You know, you gotta have him. You gotta have him in the arsenal, because if you don't, it's weird. You know. And do a ton. Al Pacino, Christian Bale. I think. Yeah, just a lot. There's a lot that you know, when people tell me, give me how many do you do, and I'm like, I don't know.
You ever like all of a sudden like you'll wing it and probably be like, give me some topics?
No, I've never done that before. It's not something I'm really like comfortable with doing.
Like whose line is it anyway?
No, I've never done that before.
So, give us an example of like a comedy skit. Like you got one?
A comedy skit?
Yeah.
Like, you mean like doing a bit?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. All right. Well, I guess one of the things I talk about is how like I just have this deep voice going on. I sound like a lot like an A. James Earl Jones. Literally, I can just walk around and just tell people, I'm looking for my son, Hakeem. Like, I can do that, you know. And I've grown up with this voice. Like, I've had this voice. I remember when I didn't go through puberty. So that's one thing that I always talk about is just dealing with that, growing up as a kid, just looking older than I did. You know, people would, I would never be able to order off the kids' menu, off certain restaurants, because nobody believed me. That was always weird. Yeah.
Cool. We'll be right back after these public service announcements.
All right.
Hi, I'm Silos from the New Jams Radio Hour.
I'm Tao from Asian Pop.
Hi, I'm Justine from Meet Me on Main Street.
You can help support WPMD.
And it's easy.
Just visit our website, WPMDonthenet.com.
Once you get there, click on the Amazon.com banner near the top of the page.
And that'll take you to Amazon.com. Then just shop like you always do. WPMD will get a percentage of your purchase, and so will the Cerritos College Foundation.
And it won't cost you anything extra.
It's a great way to help WPMD.
And get all those great bargains at the same time.
Remember, just go to WPMDonthenet.com.
Click on the Amazon banner and start shopping.
It's your way to make a difference for the place where people make a difference. WPMD on the net.
And thanks.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Happy shopping, and thanks a bunch.
Being a responsible citizen, you want to know what's going on in your community. And being a responsible radio station, it's our job to let you know. So, WPMD presents meetings of both Norwalk and Cerritos City Council meetings every Sunday at 5 Pacific, only on WPMD on the net, where people make a difference.
Take an ordinary putty knife and scrape off the old wax ring. Place the new wax ring over the flange, then line up the bolts with the bowl and gently set in place, making sure a proper seal is created with the flange and drain. Next,
Dad,
yeah, sweetie.
is that a new plumbing manual?
Oh, yeah, honey.
We really need to get some new books.
Right, do you want me to stop?
Nah, I kind of want to know how it ends.
Okay. Tighten the bolts, line up the flushing valve to the opening in the top of the bowl, and secure the tank with a screwdriver and crescent wrench.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hey, kid.
And we are back here on the Falcon Spotlight, here at Cerritos College, Norwalk, California. Now, do you still get nervous when you perform?
Not really. By the way, I love how you just kind of like just go straight into it. I know we're the only two in here, but it's just, for me, it's just so funny. Do I ever get? I don't get. as nervous anymore as I used to. I come from a theater background. I've done theater all throughout high school and everything, so the whole on-stage jitters kind of got out of me pretty quick. I still, like, I'll still, like, before I have to go up, I'll stretch it out, like, literally just be off the side, just stretching. I don't even move that much on stage, but I just doing that just kind of relaxes me and just gets me a little more loose, so I can have fun with the audience and everything. But in terms of just being nervous, I've never really gone up and in the middle of my set just froze and just literally just look like I don't know what's going on anymore. I've never had that happen before. I have had it where I have gone up maybe once or twice, you know, a little high or something, and then it's not good.
Who were some of your inspirations?
Fluffy for sure is one of them. Louis C.K., Doug Benson. I'd have to say like James Adomian for impressions, especially. He's one of the best. In my opinion, one of the best impressionists, male impressionists at least, and a stand-up comic as well. A friend of mine, Melissa Villasenor, who's been on America's Got Talent and everything. She's definitely another great impressionist that I look up to in terms of somebody I can definitely talk to about, like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that kind of stuff? That's about it in terms of just who I can think of. Sarah Silverman, Tig Notaro, Maria Bamford, or it's just some of the ones I'm just kind of thinking of off the top of my head as well.
So, there are like what, 4 late night shows, right? The ones that are on like at 11?
Probably, who knows?
So, do you watch those ones? Like the Tonight Show?
I watch Conan more than anything. I love Conan. It's one of my favorite programs. So, Conan, if you're listening, get me on your show.
And then, how about Saturday Night Live?
I do watch Saturday Night Live. I enjoy it from time to time. There's some days where I'm just kind of like with the crowd, just kind of like, it's not as good as it used to be. But, you know, times changing, so things gotta change, yeah.
What do you think, Chris Farley?
I never met the guy, but seems like very funny guy. Definitely wish he was still around. I would love to see like how he would have changed his style and everything, because it's definitely something you don't see anymore. That kind of slapstick. You don't see that kind of comedy anymore in movies or anything. At least his style. And I would have loved to see like how he would have adapted to the changing times and how he would be now.
Yeah, I noticed it recently. They're like putting documentaries and stuff
Mm-hmm.
on, I think, Rios, the TV channel. So it's been pretty interesting to check that out. And I think there was a Chris Farley day that Spike played like a couple of his movies.
Oh yeah.
That was cool. Have you had a chance to like see documentaries of like or like DVDs and stuff of certain comedians?
What do you mean?
Like you know how sometimes they have like specials and then they go on DVD?
Oh, you mean like just stand-up specials?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. That's before I started doing stand-up. That was my way in. Was just watching stand-up specials, watching Comedy Central, and just studying it. I mean, you gotta know like what you're gonna get yourself into. And for me, like I watched so much stand-up just to understand like the process of how you should treat yourself on stage, how you should present yourself, how you should be, and everything. So that's definitely that was my learning tool, was just watching stand-up videos, and that's all I pretty much have on my iTunes in terms of videos, stand-up.
And you know, there's so many different components to comedy. Like there's like an album. You got parodies like Weird Al.
Yeah.
What did you think of Weird Al?
I enjoy him. It's I have no philosophical opinions about him, but I do enjoy him. He's definitely made his name for himself for what he does.
Yeah, those videos.
He's definitely somebody who's in terms of musical comedians, he's definitely somebody that's at the top in terms of musical comedy. Yeah.
And then on top of that, there's like roasts.
Yeah. Yeah, Jeff Ross definitely owns those, and he's one of the coolest dudes ever. I've met him several times. He's just a cool dude.
For our audience, you know, you don't know what a roast is. Can you explain?
Yeah, a roast is literally just well, there's different styles. I mean, there's the roast like on Comedy Central where they have like an honoree, somebody who's been in the industry for a while and has made it definitely a big career, and they usually get a lot of comedians, a lot of close friends, and they come up and just talk smack, just tell jokes about them. Not so much like, oh, well, this one time he was over here. No, like just mean jokes, and that's the whole fun of it. Is just like almost trying to put them down, but at the same time, like it's honoring them in that way. And there's a great show over at the Comedy Store on Sunset Boulevard called The Roast Battle. If you get a chance, definitely go see it. It's a packed show. It's at the Belly Room of the Comedy Store. It's definitely a challenge for a comedian because it's definitely like a writing challenge. Because it's just two comics going at each other, no holding back in terms of material, and just insults, just firing insults at each other as much as possible, and it definitely gets a little crazy. But it's definitely a fun thing. I highly recommend going and check it out.
Cool. How often do you perform?
I try to get up. I try my best to get up on an actual show at least once a week. I'll go do open mics. Almost every day. If I'm not doing open mics, I try writing. I try working on videos. Try to work on material. Try to work on just a whole bunch of other stuff. Try to work on my website and everything. Just try to keep myself busy. Because the less you work, the less you're gonna see. Less work you're gonna see. The less you put in, the less you're gonna get out.
And where can people find your work?
You guys can go to my website, jjfcomedy.com, or you guys can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, all of that stuff, at jjfcomedy as well. My YouTube channel is just Julian Fernandez. Try to look it up. Right now I'm working on a web show called Voices, where I'm going to be showcasing some impressions and everything. It's still in the working process, but it should be fun. And definitely keep an eye out for me on USA pretty soon.
Cool. Now, tell me, when you were in high school and once you got to college, when did you know already, boom, like, I gotta focus on just comedy?
I'd say about 3 years into college. I started doing stand-up when I was 18, and when I went into college. Right after class, I drove all the way to LA, signed up for an open mic at Laugh Factory. Had to wait the following week to go up. So as soon as that happened, I did the show and everything happened, I was like, I'm gonna do stand up for the rest of my life. And being 18, I always thought like, oh, the only way you can do stand up is if you go to clubs. You have to go to clubs to go do stand up. You can't do it anywhere else. I didn't know you can pretty much do it anywhere. Like comedy, like if you're somebody who's looking to do stand up and you've done it for a while, and you're not getting a lot of stage time, make your own stage time. Find a venue, find some good equipment, all that, set up a stage, book some comics, book a headliner, and that's how you're gonna get stage time, is if you work with people. You get stage time, you give stage time, you're gonna get stage time, guaranteed. But for me, like 18, I thought, I have to be 21 to get into these other clubs to do the open mics and everything. And I live outside of LA. I live about maybe 45 minutes away from LA, and that's what I thought was the only place to do stand up was in LA. That's not the case. But I didn't find that out until I was 21, which is when I dropped out of school, and decided I'm gonna focus on stand up because that's what I want to do. It's where I want to go, and I didn't see any reason to stay in school really.
And like to book a show, you just gotta like go to the owner of the place, and how does it work?
There's different ways to get booked on shows. Definitely, a lot of people tend to think. I know I definitely thought this was the only way you can get booked on like clubs and definitely get booked at like touring and doing like different states and all that is you need a manager, you need an agent. It's not the case. You are your own product. You're your own self. So you need to be the one booking everything at the start, because once you have value, then you get the agent, then you get the manager, and then you get those other bookings and everything. But to get like on a show, it's as simple as just making friends. That's basically it. If you don't interact with other comedians, with other people that are in the comedy community, you're not going to get stage time because nobody's really going to know who you are. Nobody's going to, like, I'll give you an example. I have a couple friends who book me for shows in San Diego and have me feature, headline, just do regular spots, and they give me various times to perform and everything, and they pay me and they let me bring down my merchandise whenever I come down. But I mean, we help each other out. Like if I have stage time, or if I know somebody that's booking a show, I'll recommend them, and vice versa. They'll definitely recommend me for shows as well. If I were to ask, like, hey, do you know anybody? They'd be like, yeah, I'll send you their way right now. And that's how you get stage time. It's all through referrals, through recommendations. Sometimes it is. You gotta just message people yourself and just be like, hey, I'm looking, I know I've seen your show. That's the other thing too, support a show. If you don't support shows, you don't support the comedy community, nobody's really gonna want to work with you because you're not supportive. If you get booked on a show and you're just like, all right, cool, I'm on a show, I don't need to work I don't need to do anything else right now. No, you need to promote it. You need to try to get people out. Try to tell people, hey, come out to this show, check it out. Tell your other comic friends, hey, come out to the show. I'll introduce you to the guy who booked me. Get you a booking. I'll tell them how cool and how funny you are. It's all just really about just being a cool person, just being a nice person, just being funny, being professional, and being supportive. Those are like just the big 3-4 things you need to do. Is just those things, and guaranteed you'll get booked on shows.
Tell me about like merchandise.
I sell shirts. As of right now, it's all I sell. I have one that I sell I sell right now, and it's based on a bit that I do I refer to myself as Latino-ish, just because I don't like being called whitewashed. And I have like a whole bunch of examples as to what makes me Latino-ish. Because growing up, I never felt like because I'm 100% Mexican. I'm not mixed. I'm not anything like that. But that hasn't stopped people from assuming that I am. So I came up with this term, and I think that it's a lot better to be referred to as that. For me, at least, it's a lot better. And I think there are a lot of people who feel the same way, that they're not whitewashed. They haven't abandoned their culture, but at the same time, they're not 100% with their culture. So they're Latino-ish. So I sell shirts that say Latino-ish on them. When I do impressions, I have for my web series, my intro is a trailer voice that just goes, one mouth, 1,000 voices, stuff like that. So that's what it says on my shirts, one mouth, 1,000 voices, in the shape of a smile. So yeah. And there's some people that sell like buttons, DVDs, CDs. Gabe sells tons of stuff. He sells bobbleheads, little action figures, the little WWE action figures, those little ones. So that's really cool. He sells tons of stuff. And there's other comics that sell different things, and that's what's cool. Like, you can sell almost anything as long as it has your name on it. It's your merchandise, and you can sell it. And that's really like when you're a comic and you're actually starting to get road work. That's really where you're gonna make your money, is having merchandise. But if you're planning to be a comic, don't just make merchandise just to have merchandise. Have an idea behind it. Don't just do it.
Tell me about the struggles when you first started.
Struggles definitely. Having a day job is one, because you're not making money when you're starting out. You're definitely not really making money when you're making money, because you're gonna make very little. You're not gonna make really anything. You're at best if I have a gig in San Diego, I might make $20, and that's gas money right there. But I made $20. That's why, again, I have merchandise. But having a day job is really a challenge because for me, I want to make more time for doing stand-up than I do for doing actual work. This past year or so, I've been through maybe 4 different jobs just because they haven't accommodated my schedule and my flexibility that I need for stand-up. And that's definitely one of the toughest things, is just keeping the day job or keeping money coming in when you're working.
And what was the reaction of with like family and friends?
I get a lot of support from everybody, from my family. Everybody 100% supports me. My cousin actually is the one who gets me my shirts and everything. He makes them. So a little plug for him, Lab. Oh, you know what? I should probably know his website. I'll pull it up right now. But he's the one who makes my shirts and everything. And if you guys want to check it out, it's lab1419.com. I'm here to just do plugs. But my cousin definitely supports me. My family definitely supports me. It's a bit of a struggle with my parents to support me, just because I live with my family, and it's definitely one of those things where it's like they get it that I have to work at it. They get that it's a process. It's the process. There's not a lot of cases where you're a big hit overnight. There's very rare cases where that happens. Except for maybe nowadays, because we have so much technology and the internet and everything, it's a bit easier for people to become overnight successes. But at the same time, like, I think you're gonna stay in that limelight because you're gonna work at it more than, oh, you had that one hit on YouTube. Oh, okay, so you're famous now. You're quote unquote famous now. I don't think that's the case. I think if you work hard at it, you'll stay relative. You'll stay in the limelight. But a lot of my family, they do support me. They've come out to see shows and everything. They've helped me. I'd had a gig doing a military show out in Virginia, and I had to pay for my own flight. But I didn't have the money at the time, and my family was very helpful. They all pitched in, got me my plane ticket to and from. And my cousin lived out that way, so she let me stay with her in Boston. So it was great. Baltimore, not Boston, Baltimore. And she helped me to get to my venue and everything, and she supported me by staying, watching the show. So, and everybody definitely supports me. I hear nothing but great. Every time I see people that I haven't seen in a while, they always tell me, like, I see you're doing this and that. And it's always nice to hear that people are kind of aware of what's going on in my life.
Nice.
Yeah.
How about within your city? Like, do like people know you? Like say they're like the city council and stuff like that.
Not really.
Or school, like the schools.
No, I feel like right now, not really. Like I said, I do have something coming out pretty soon in May. I can't